All right, so I just spent several hours cleaning my house because I just started to realize the air quality was really starting to go down. I haven't opened the windows for a while. It was getting a little dusty. I noticed my furnace filters needed replaced. So, what did I do? I started to sweep, mop, vacuum, do all those kinds of things, which is pretty basic stuff that most people do. Um, some do it more often than others. But I just want to kind of to give a few quick tips on how to improve the air quality in your home today, right now. You could do this stuff, before it gets dark tonight or tomorrow or whenever you have a day off work in the next few weeks. So basically, the first thing I did was I swept with a shop vac. You can see behind me that thing. They're great. I recommend everyone go out and buy one. Regular vacuums are okay, but they just don't do the job good enough, in my opinion. Um, so basically, I started from the top and I moved down because dust obviously falls, to the floor. So you start at the top and you work your way down, and that way all of the dust that you're moving around and everything eventually will just go to the floor. Whereas if you sweep the floor, then do the ceiling, the cobwebs, and all that stuff, it'll all end up on the floor. And then if you don't sweep the floor again, then all that stuff just gets kicked around again. So, also, when you're doing this stuff, it's a good idea to wear a dust mask. Um, don't have to. It's probably not going to hurt you that bad if you don't, but you might as well. You're kicking up all this dust in your house. So it's always good to have an extra layer of protection when you're doing that. It's also great to open your windows, even if it's cold outside. That's kind of a good way to get some cold exposure. Don't worry about the heater bill. If you let your house cool down 10 or 20 degrees once a month or something, it's really not going to hurt your wallet too much, and the cool temperatures are actually beneficial to your health, but we won't go into that right now. So another thing I did was I went out and bought new furnace filters. Here I went to Home Depot. Um, got the most expensive ones they had. This is the highest FPR rating that there is, and I think it means like filter particulate rating, and that's the best one. I mean, it filters out supposedly all kinds of different stuff: mold, bacteria, um, viruses, odor, smog, dust, lint, all that kind of gross stuff that you don't want to breathe in. Kind of makes you, itchy and allergenic and all that stuff. Another cool thing I did was went down to the park and I harvested a bunch of pine needle branches. And basically, what I did is I just trimmed them down, and I used some like trash bag twist things, and I tied them down to this. This is the shield for the furnace filter. So when you put the filter in, you slide this back up in there, and it locks in place. So basically, what that's going to do is, as the furnace is pulling air with the fan in, it's going to draw some of the resinous oils out of the needles and out of the bark and the twigs here, and pull that into the filter, and then that's going to filter out a nice kind of fresh sort of Christmas tree scent into the house. That might last a couple weeks. I'm really not sure. With all the airflow, it's probably going to dry those things out pretty fast, so probably have to make sure to sweep those up when I'm done using them like that. But I'm probably going to keep doing that all through the winter, just to kind of bring in some fresh scents into the house. That's another thing that can really degrade the air quality in your house is too much incense, air fresheners, which I don't use those, but some people do. They have a lot of petroleum byproducts and things in there, accelerants and propellants and solvents and all kinds of things that are very irritating to your nose, your sense, can affect your taste, can give you headaches, can even kind of mess up your hormones. Another thing you could do, which I wouldn't really do it because I don't like essential oils that much. I think they're too harsh on the body for most people. Some of them are okay. I like a few different ones. but for the most part, I try to stay away from those things. I'm not really going to go into that in too much detail, but what you could do is get some essential oils, put a few drops into a spray bottle with some water, and then spray down the furnace filter, and then that's going to pull some of those scents and disperse them out into the house, through the ductwork. And it's also great to do that because it's going to clean out some of that, nasty kind of bacteria things that cause bad odors and things like that. They get trapped inside the houses because, it's just basically a closed box, and a lot of people don't open their windows enough. And most new houses aren't even really designed for optimal airflow because most people have AC. They want to have small windows to keep the heat in and to keep the cold in when it's warm in the summertime. I like older houses because, one, they have hardwood floors, as you can see in this house, and they're great. I mean, when you first put them in, obviously there's going to be some chemical stuff. There's different options for natural oils and waxes and things to use to kind of keep the chemical load to a minimum. But, I mean, in the long run, it's a much better way to go. They last longer. They don't accumulate dust and dander from pets if you have dogs or cats. There's not going to be VOCs for the most part like there is with carpet, because carpet can off-gas for several years after it's been installed. And I can walk into a new house and just, I'm on the floor sometimes because the paint and the carpet, all the chemicals, just the petroleum, VOCs, and all that stuff is just so intense that I just can't handle it for the most part. So I prefer to live in homes that are mold-free and have been kind of off-gas free for quite a while. The house that I live in now is, I don't know, probably at least 70 or 80 years old. It's all hardwood floors. There's no carpet in here. It's very clean, no mold, tile in the kitchen. All those kinds of things really help to keep the air quality in your house nice and clean, comfortable, which ultimately is going to benefit your health in the long run. So I've kind of been rambling on here. If you have any more questions about how to keep the air quality up in your house, feel free to send me a message or check out my website, wildfoodwarehouse.com and benbelty.com. For more information. So